Welcome to our NextIce database. Today we'll be importing a table from an Excel file, which is really useful if you're making an Access database from something else. So this is our chart. Here's our Excel spreadsheet that we're going to be taking for. Note the headings on each column. And here's our structure. You should see this on your ICE instructions. So let's go to our folder, our network drive, and we should be going to database, ICE3, and finally let's open up our database, enable content, and let's get started by importing. So we'll go to external data, Excel, and then we will find our Excel spreadsheet. It should be in the same folder. Click it. Go ahead and select that first bullet and hit OK. Note there are two worksheets in here, zip codes and states. We're going to pick zip codes. First row will contain the headings. So notice it's grayed out. If I unclick it, it's not grayed. So we're going to pick zip code as our primary key, so we're going to pick no duplicates because the primary key needs to be unique. We're going to rename the state field to state code, so hit next, and we're going to choose our own primary key. Note, if Access chooses it, that uses the auto number feature you see here. So we'll call it zip codes and hit finish. Hit OK. We called it the wrong thing. It should be zip code without an S instead of zip code. So we're going to have to close it and rename it to take off that S. We want to do these things before we build the relationship. Otherwise, things could get kind of tricky here in Access. Okay, so we have our table. Let's go to the design mode and let's go and change the fields to fit our map, right? So let me pull up the map here. There it is. So we see that zip code should be text 10, city should be text 26, state code should be text 2. So let's go ahead and change the field size to match those things. Once again, we do it before we create the relationship, so we don't have to redo all our work. Hit yes, and because we made sure all our data fit in the field size, we're good. And here's our new table. Let's go ahead and build that relationship, database tools, relationships. And we're going to scroll over till we see soldiers and address, and we're just going to drag and drop zip code into this right side of the window. We're going to drag zip code field to the other zip code field and enforcing referential integrity, and hit OK. Once we do that, we notice that there's an error. That's because we had the zip code table open. So we'll do it all over again, and notice the one-to-many relationship. Let's go to addresses and do the next part of the ICE, and go to our design view. We're going to not do the query wizard. I'm going to show you an example of just going through straight query design. All the tables we want, I'm just going to drag from the left side over to the right side. Note the relationships are already in place because we did it on the relationship window, so these just pop in when we drag in the tables. So we're going to take soldier name, city, and I'm just dragging and dropping these fields in. Dragging and dropping. That's one of the key things. If you're stuck, just try and drag and drop things. We're making this query mainly so we can see what happens when we don't synchronize, when we don't build those relationships. You can see on this table that there's a whole bunch of incorrect data. Right? Someone didn't pay attention to the zip codes and they just put in random cities. So we're going to fix that. So we're going to go to address and we're going to create a lookup list. This is going to ensure that the values that are put in there are the ones we want. So we're going to go hit the lookup tab and the pick list box and pick value list. Then we're going to type in the values we want. Note that you can hit the drop down box here, but you can't on any other ones because we haven't built a lookup list on any other ones. So we'll do so on soldier social security number. Change that to combo box, leave our row source as a table, and we'll pick soldier names. So if we have a column count of 1, right, that shows the first column of the soldier names query, which is soldier social security number. If we change our column count to 2, it'll show the first 2 columns. So we'll see suddenly soldier social security number and the name. Let me expand that out, and you see the soldier social security number and the soldier name. We'll change the column width to make it look a little nicer. 1 inch for the first column, 2 inches for the second. And you can notice it looks a little bit nicer. So let me expand on this. If we go to change the width to 0 on the first column, that means we won't see the first column at all, just the second column. Notice how now the first column is missing. And but the bound column is still the first one, meaning it saves the social security number in the database, not the name. And we'll delete city, state, and country. And we just have our zip codes. So here's our final table. And that pretty much concludes this ICE.